building where we lived was right next to a river and a bridge, and I loved the river, I loved my family, and it was a lot of fun. I had 2 younger sisters and myself.
Całować umiesz tak jak tangolita, dać szczęścia moc, sprzedawać serce tak jak
We were forced out of our home into a small area in the center of the city where all the Jews were congregated, were put together like in a ghetto. We could not move anywhere else or live anywhere else. And life has really changed a lot. Both my mom and my dad were forced into slave labor, which meant that they were working hard, 12 hours from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening, and did not get paid. So of course there was hunger because there was not enough food, since you didn't have money to buy it.
Długo trwała bajka ta, me oczy widzą cię, kochaj znów mnie. Pamiętasz tę noc księżycową?
They took us to a slave labor camp, which means I was totally isolated from my parents, from my family, from my friends, just put like in a prison. There had barracks there, they were bare, they called them bunk beds, but they were not bunk beds, they were just shelves. It was boards, there was not even straw in there, nothing. No pillows, no sheets, no blankets. The barracks were unheated, there was no heat in there. I'll give you an idea what one day in the camp was like. We were awakened at 5 in the morning. We had to immediately line up in front of the barracks. Everybody, the whole camp had to get out, and they counted us. They had to make sure that everyone was there, that no one escaped. The Nazi Germans who were there were very cruel. They were killing people like flies, and they were bragging about it, how many they already killed that day. So being separated from my family was the most painful experience that I ever had in my life. That was on a Sunday morning, early morning, April 15, 3 days after my 16th birthday. A tall, very tall man, an inmate, wearing those striped, you probably saw those prisoner striped clothes that they've had. They were like blue, faded blue, and kind of dirty color white, off-white, striped suit, but he was very tall. And this big, tall man kept running and saw me, grabbed me, picked me up, just as if I were a ball, and threw me up in the air, screaming, "We are free, we are liberated, we are free." And I thought he was crazy. I didn't see anybody freeing anybody. You know, I was just taking the number of people in each barrack. And sure enough, we were liberated. That was our liberation day. I did not see. We were liberated by the British, the English soldiers. I didn't see them until the next day. But he kept yelling and jumping and throwing me up and down. I was sure that I'm going to fall on the ground and break every bone in my body. But he caught me every time that he threw me up in the air. He was just going crazy. He was just so happy that we were liberated, and to me it meant nothing. We were liberated from what? I mean, I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought he lost his mind. But that was my liberation. So they were all brick buildings where the German officers and the Nazi soldiers and guards lived. So the British got them out and brought in beds and made a hospital out of that. And they, first of all, they sprayed us with DDT, which is like they use it to disinfect. British send us, those that were sick with tuberculosis, to Sweden under the auspices of International Red Cross, and I was taken care of in Sweden.
People would say to me, "Aren't you lucky you survived?" And I would just look at them and say, if you only knew how crushed I was, because I lived only for one reason, and that was the war would be over and I would be reunited with my family. When the war was over, and I learned that I would never be with my family, that I would never be in my home, that I was a nobody and a nothing. Who was I? I had absolutely no background, no roots, no family, no home.
The most important thing to me in life is to be with family, of course, most of all. I think education is a key that opens many, many doors in life.
I want to make sure that people are aware of what humans are capable of doing, that we must learn to be human, that we must react when there is injustice. We have to act when there is prejudice, because it begins in a little way. When I speak in high schools, I talk to the young students, teenagers, and tell them, if you see prejudice or you see injustice among your own circles, among your own friends, stop it right then and there. Don't allow it to develop into what eventually happens when we don't show that we care. If you see someone hurt, be on that person's side to help, because once the others who inflict pain see that people don't care, then they feel that they can do anything they please, and we cannot allow that.